High in the rolling hills of northern England lies an ancient monument, a scar across the landscape that once marked the very edge of the known world. This is Hadrian's Wall. More than just a pile of stones, this wall tells a story of empires, soldiers, ambition, and secrets lost to time. Why was it built? Who walked its length? And what strange truths lie hidden in its stones? Today, we journey back nearly 2,000 years to unravel the curious history of Hadrian's Wall and reveal the fascinating facts you've probably never heard before. The year is 122 AD. The Roman Empire is at its height, stretching from the sands of North Africa to the misty highlands of northern Britain. At the time, Britain was Rome's western frontier, and while the southern part of the island was under Roman control, the north remained wild, untamed, and fiercely independent. Enter Emperor Hadrian, a ruler not focused on expansion, but on consolidation. He famously declared that Rome needed to define its boundaries. Instead of conquering new lands, Hadrian wanted to strengthen what the empire already had. So he ordered the construction of a wall across the width of Britannia to separate the Romans from the barbarians. And thus, Hadrian's Wall was born. But here's the twist. It wasn't just about defense. It was about power, control, and sending a clear message. This far and no further. Spanning an incredible 73 miles, or 117 kilometers, Hadrian's Wall stretched from the River Tyne near Newcastle, all the way to the Solway Firth on the west coast. Built mostly of stone in the east and turf in the west, the wall stood around 15 feet high and up to 10 feet thick in some places. But that's just the start. Every Roman mile, about 1.48 kilometers, was marked by a mile castle, a small fortlet used as a guard post and customs station. Between mile castles, 2 turrets were placed for extra surveillance, and at key points, 16 large forts housed garrisons of Roman soldiers, ready to respond to any threat from the north. A wide ditch, called the Vallum, was dug south of the wall as a second line of defense, and possibly to keep unauthorized Roman civilians away from military zones. This wasn't just a wall, it was a military machine, a living border, and a show of Roman engineering at its finest. So, who actually built this colossal structure? The work was carried out by over 15,000 Roman soldiers, mainly legionaries and auxiliary troops. But here's the fascinating part. Most of them weren't Roman by birth. They came from Spain, Syria, Gaul, North Africa, and even the Balkans. Imagine being a recruit from the sun-drenched streets of Carthage or Damascus, and suddenly finding yourself in the freezing moors of Britain. These men weren't just warriors, they were builders, engineers, and craftsmen. They built the wall, but they also constructed roads, barracks, baths, and storehouses. And they didn't live alone. Around many forts grew civilian settlements, places where families, merchants, and local Britons coexisted with Roman soldiers. This wasn't just a frontier, it was a living, breathing community. Now let's dive into the really fun part. Strange, surprising, and curious facts about Hadrian's Wall. 1. It's not the only Roman wall in Britain. Most people think Hadrian's Wall was the empire's northern limit, but in 142 AD, Emperor Antoninus Pius built the Antonine Wall, about 100 miles further north. It didn't last long. It was smaller, less durable, and eventually abandoned in favor of Hadrian's Wall. Still, it shows Rome kept pushing boundaries. Briefly. 2. The wall had graffiti, and its hilarious ancient Roman soldiers left behind graffiti carved into the stones. Messages range from military boasts to crude jokes. One soldier scratched, "Aulus was here," on a mile castle, basically the Roman version of tagging a wall. 3. Exotic pets and rodents. Archaeologists have found bones of dogs, mice, and even birds, like parrots, in and around the forts. Some soldiers likely brought pets from their homelands, and one fort even had a special area just for vermin control. 4th, female footprints. Although Roman military policy forbade women from living in forts, reality was different. Many soldiers had wives, lovers, and children living in the nearby settlements. Some women were even buried near the wall with high honors, suggesting they held respected roles in the community. 5. Taxes and trade. Hadrian's Wall wasn't just about defense, it was also a checkpoint for trade and taxation. Goods crossing from one side to the other were taxed by Roman officials, making the wall a vital economic hub as well. 6. Religious diversity. Temples along the wall have revealed altars to Roman gods, but also to local deities, and even Eastern gods like Mithras. This shows a melting pot of cultures and beliefs at the edge of the empire. 7. The wall was a tourist attraction even then. Believe it or not, in ancient times, Roman elites visited the wall as a kind of military tourism. Inscriptions record official visits and inspections, with dignitaries leaving behind plaques to mark their journeys. Daily life along Hadrian's Wall was a mix of military discipline and human routine. Soldiers trained regularly, maintained the wall, and patrolled the border. But they also ate, laughed, and lived lives full of little details. They baked bread, brewed beer, played games, and even wrote letters. Some of the oldest surviving handwritten documents in Britain, the Vindolanda tablets, come from this time. They include everything from military orders to birthday party invitations. The climate was tough, cold, windy, and wet, but life went on. And amidst the routine, a unique Romano-British culture was forming, blending the might of Rome with the mysticism of Britain. By the early 5th century, the Roman Empire was in decline. Troops were recalled from distant outposts, and Hadrian's Wall was slowly abandoned. The local population began dismantling parts of the wall for stone, used in homes, churches, and farms. For centuries, the wall faded into the background, forgotten, crumbling, and buried by time. But then came a rediscovery. In the 18th and 19th centuries, historians and archaeologists began to uncover its secrets. Today, Hadrian's Wall is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a symbol of imperial power, engineering brilliance, and enduring mystery. Its legacy lives not just in the stones, but in modern roads, place names, and even the culture of the north of England. Hadrian's Wall isn't just an ancient ruin. It's a line across time, a frontier between worlds, peoples, and empires. It tells a story of resilience, innovation, and the human need to create boundaries, even in the wildest of places. So next time you see a broken stone in the hills of northern England, remember, it was once part of a mighty empire's final stand. And history? It's just beneath your feet, waiting to be rediscovered.